What's up, guys? My name is Gonzalo Martinez. Again, you guys might know me for the guy that fixes the Apple computers here. If not, you might have seen me carrying around this pizza delivery bag, but never delivering any pizza. That's me. So when I'm not here, I'm running a company called CleverTech. But before we get too into CleverTech, I wanted to talk about my upbringing because I think you and I may have similar upbringings. I also wanted to talk about how difficult it was to get to where I'm at now, and hopefully inspire you to look at school, choosing a career path, maybe even life in a different way. So I want to start from the beginning. I guess for me it starts with my parents. So my parents are first generation immigrants from Mexico. My mom was extremely uneducated. She only got education until 3rd grade, and her parents couldn't afford to continue her school. But when she turned 17, she thought it was a good idea to move to a country where she didn't know the language, where she didn't know how she was going to make first month's rent. But when she was 17, she moved to the United States anyways. My dad did the same thing when he was 18, and eventually they met, they got married, and it was a little difficult for us in the beginning. I remember we didn't have a lot of money. We were constantly living with multiple families, usually 2 to 3 families, so it was 12 to 15 people in a 2-bedroom apartment. I remember constantly having to go through my laundry because I had to reuse my clothes over and over again, so it was a lot of dirty clothes I had to go through. I remember on Christmases we didn't always have a Christmas tree, but my parents would always go to the Salvation Army and they'd fill up a black garbage bag full of toys, and we would all huddle around the garbage bag on Christmas. And we would tear that thing open and decide who got what toys, who had to share with who. And it got a little better. We became lower middle class. We moved to a small town called Manteca. We did pretty well until the collapse in 2008. My parents lost their home. It was really difficult on them. They got a divorce. I sided with my mom to help her out. It was really tough in the beginning. When we started back at ground zero, we rented a 1-room. It wasn't a 1-room apartment. It wasn't a 1-bedroom house. It was 1 room. It was 5 of us in 1 room. I remember we had a little space in the fridge where we could put our food. And I was kind of forced into working. I was 17 at the time. I landed at a repair shop, which is where I started repairing. To save money, I would skip lunches. If I ever did eat, I'd usually eat the cheapest thing possible. So I went through a couple noodle soups at that time. My days were crazy. I got up early. I had a 2-hour walk and bus ride to school. After school, I had a 1-hour walk to work. To speed up that process, I saved up enough to get a skateboard, so I get to school faster, put a little more hours at work, eventually saving up enough money to buy a car, eventually working full-time, and so on and so forth. I was jumping from repair shop to repair shop at the time. I didn't feel like my ideas were being heard or even implemented. So I talked to other repair shop owners, talked to my family, talked to friends. They all thought I had really good ideas and thought I should start my own thing. But it was extremely difficult. I still had all my family living with me. I had my girlfriend living with me, and I didn't know if I'd be able to pay first month's rent. So I continued talking to people. They believed in me enough, where I believed in myself, and I made the jump in 2014. I started in my living room. I always had the idea of 3 things. It was first, carry every part in stock. Second, being able to repair every repair in-house, which means not to outsource anything. And 3 was to have an extremely knowledgeable staff. So I started with the first thing. I started with inventory. I started creating a database and keeping everything in stock. And other repair shops heard that I had everything in stock, so they started ordering from me. At the time, it was only myself in the living room. I remember thinking every day, if I could just make $100 today, I'd pay for myself to continue on the next day and the next day. Some days I didn't make anything, so the days I made $200, I just thought it made up for the day I didn't make anything. I just remember if I could just make $100 today, it'll put me through. I mean, I woke up at 9 a.m., that's usually when I got started, and some days it just never ended. I remember falling asleep at my desk, it was 12, 2 a.m., it never ended. I had no days off. And eventually, we upgraded. We went into my dining room when I got my first employees. And I remember there's a person working in my backyard, there's a person working in the living room, and we were running through 300 iPads, mostly screen replacements, battery replacements, so there's glass everywhere. It was horrible, and we had carpet. It was not a good mix at all. Eventually got lucky enough to find the office space that we're at now. We bought out another repair shop that was there. We support over 40 repair shops in the Bay Area. Last year we made over $700,000 in gross income, so things are looking really good. My day-to-day now is mostly managing customer service, accounting, paying lots of taxes. I really don't enjoy doing my daily tasks, but what's kind of cool is I went to college for 2 years and I got to study what I like doing, which is psychology and philosophy. So implementing the ideas I learned in college, I'm able to create an experience where employees can come into work every day and really enjoy what they're doing. An experience where a customer could really enjoy what they're getting back from our company and our organization and being able to grow that. And that's what I feel like my why is at work now. I feel like that's my ultimate job, is to create happiness and deliver that.